everybody, it's Wednesday, September 2nd, 2009. This is episode 6 of the Streaming Color Studios video blog. Thanks for joining me again. It's been 2 weeks since my last post. I apologize for the delay, but there's been a lot of stuff getting in the way of working on the new game. I spent the last few days working on a DAPL update, which should be submitted this afternoon, and then who knows how long, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks that update will hit the store. It's got a couple of little fixes and some improvements to some UI stuff. But that's been taking time away from the new game. In terms of the new game, not a lot of new gameplay stuff to talk about. I've been doing a lot of tuning on the physics and the behavior of the various objects in the game. Things are starting to feel a lot better, and I'm really happy with how things are coming along. So that's good news. The big technical change on the game side is the addition of a texture atlas rendering system and a font bitmap rendering system that I've added to the game. These are both basically the same thing. A texture atlas is a way of grouping lots of smaller textures or images into one large texture. The rendering system then picks what little part of the image to draw for any given sprite. So if I want to draw one of the small ships, I know the coordinates inside the image to draw that particular ship. The advantage of doing this is that it's much faster to render because you don't have to rebind a new texture inside OpenGL every time you want to render a new image. So that's shown some minor performance improvements to just the general texture rendering in the game. But the big win was creating a font bitmap system which uses this texture atlas code. So a font bitmap is just, or bitmap font, is just a texture that's got all of the letters and numbers that you want to be able to render from your font, all inside one big image. And then each letter has coordinates that tell me how to draw it. So if I want to draw the letter A, I know it starts at particular coordinates and ends at particular coordinates. Using the texture atlasing system, this has significantly improved the draw speed of my strings and fonts in the game. So this is a huge win. It actually saved me about 40% of my frame time. I was using a really slow font rendering system that I knew I needed to rip out. But it's good to see that the new system generated such performance improvements. What I thought I'd do now is actually show you what the texture atlases and font bitmap look like that I've generated. I once again stress that this is all temporary art. This is not final art and not my final font. This is all just for testing. So let's take a look at that now. All right, what you're seeing here is the texture atlas that I currently have in the game. This is all temporary artwork, but it gives you an idea of what we see. It's got a background here, and then all the different sprites or textures that I use in the game. So they're all compressed in here as tightly as possible. You can see I've got lots of room to add more things to the same texture atlas. But then in the game code, what this does is there's a data file that gets loaded into the game, and the game reads it and then parses that data and figures out, well, if I want to draw this yellow ship, I know I need to start at this point in the image and draw down to this point, and it maps that to a couple of triangles that it ends up drawing on the screen. So the same principle is used for the bitmap font. So here's an example that I did just to get something running in the game, and you can see that it's just got a bunch of letters, but it uses the same idea. So it has a data file that looks like this. This is just storing texture coordinates for each individual character, as well as some basic kerning data, which is how much space between characters. The really cool thing about bitmap fonts is that I can apply sort of graphical effects to the font in the actual image. So here's the PNG of the font, and what I've done is taken it into an image editor and added a nice kind of black glow around each of the letters. This allows the text to stand out on a light background, but it doesn't cost any extra processing power in the game because it's built right into the texture. So that's one of the real nice benefits about using bitmap fonts in this case. So there you go, a look at my texture atlases. I hope that's interesting to you. Thanks for watching once again. I hope to see you next time.